Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. I am going to give you guys another tutorial video on a build that I run for my Solar Titan. This is one of a couple that I like to use. This one's using primarily the Severance enclosure. So we'll kind of get into all this stuff here in just a second. So if you like this kind of videos, man, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell notification to get updated whenever I post more videos on these sorts of things. I also play a couple other games. I'm on Kick if you want to follow me over there at Seth and HD. So without waiting any longer, let's jump into this. Okay, so this is the Sunbreaker class. I'll show you what I'm running in here with aspects and fragments. Then we'll jump into weapons, armor pieces, and then mods last, and then we'll jump into some gameplay after that. So I like to use the rally barricade because simply it's a shorter cooldown, so that helps having all of that. Plus you get a quicker stability, range, weapon reload speed anytime you are just standing directly behind this. You also get, use strafe lift. You can use whatever jump you want. I just like this one, so but feel free to use, you know, high lift or catapult lift, whatever you want. We are using a throwing hammer for this one specifically, and we will go a little bit further into that here in just a moment. But you do get a little bit of healing from this whenever you use it, which is kind of cool. So from Cure, which we'll jump into here shortly. And then I like the Firebolt Grenade. You can use the Solar Grenade, but I'm personally going with the Firebolt Grenade because it scorches targets. And that's exactly really what we want, is scorches and ignites. So I am going with the Firebolt Grenade for this. For the aspects, I'm running Sol Invictus, which grants restoration, so you can regenerate your health and shields over time. This can't be interrupted by taking damage, which is really nice. That's good for sustainability. We have Scorch, which the target is singed by destructive solar light, taking damage over time, and Scorch damage increases the target's it accumulates more Scorch stacks, and after enough the stacks applied to the target, they're going to ignite. And so these ignitions are solar explosions which deal damage in an area around a target. It also can stun unstoppable champions, so this is really helpful whenever you're taking this into harder content. For the fragment slots on this, we are using Ember of Torches, which powered melee attacks against combatants will make nearby allies radiant. So this is really nice for that increased health regen. You're also going to use Ember of Benevolence, which applying a restoration, cure, or radiant to allies. This grants an increased grenade melee and class ability regeneration for a short time. So this is really helpful. Keep in mind that restoration, cure, these things are going to be really nice for you whenever you are trying to not die, because the harder content you go into, the more likely that chance actually is. And so this is really good to have on there. You don't want to not put this one on there, so I'd say this one's pretty much like mandatory. Ember of Empyrean, solar weapon abilities and final blows, they're going to extend the restoration and radiant effects that are applied to you, so this is really helpful. The more kills you're getting, the longer you can stay radiant, the longer you can have that restoration up, which is super helpful. We also have Ember of Ashes, which you're going to apply more Scorch stacks to targets. And remember, these Scorch stacks, the more you apply, the quicker the ignition is going to be, which also damages other targets that are around and possibly scorches them also. So you're constantly spreading a lot of these. We'll jump into the weapons I'm using. I'm using a Callus mini tool. This one I did get craftable, so you can craft it. I'd recommend getting it if you can, and put on their Grave Robber and Incandescent. I'll tell you what these guys think, what these do. These help your melee final blows. They reload the weapon for the magazine reserve, which is really, really nice because we are going to be getting a ton of melee weapon kills. So Grave Robber on this is really nice so that you don't have to constantly be reloading. It just reloads it from the mag itself. We also have Incandescent, which is on here. Defeating a Scorch target spreads a longer lasting Scorch to those who are nearby, and more powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause Scorch in a larger radius. So you kill something with this and give it have an Incandescent that scorches something, it's going to spread to those who are around it, and the harder or larger the enemy, the more Scorch that can be spread through that. And so I'm going to run the fusion rifle for this, and I'm going to run the rocket launcher on here so that I get those additional Scorch stacks and burn stacks whenever I fire off the rocket launcher. So this will be nice. And again, if you wanted to use Quicksilver Swarm, you totally could. There's nothing wrong with either one of those choices. And then here's the chest armor piece for the exotic that we're really pulling everything from. It's the Severance Enclosure. Powered melee kills and finishers are going to unleash explosions. And this is really nice because the more powerful explosion that you create, the larger the blast radius. Additional to that, the more enemies you're going to scorch. And again, applying more scorch is going to ignite targets, and those targets who ignite are going to create those ignitions that spread scorch. So it's kind of like a chain effect, which is really nice. You can do a lot of damage with this class, a lot of enemies in close quarters, but Severance Enclosure is what we're going to be running for here. I've also tested this build. If you're a Heart of Himos Light fan, man, you can absolutely use this with this build as well for that improved ability regen. But we're going to use the Severance Enclosure specifically because we want to get as many of the explosions as we possibly can. Let's jump here into the mods. We'll run through this briefly and quickly so that we can get to some gameplay here. On my helmet, I am running a Discipline mod. I'm running a Heavy Ammo Finder and a Solar Siphon because the primary weapon we're going to be using is indeed a solar weapon from the Midas Mini Tool. So that's what we're using. My gauntlets, I have another Discipline mod. I'm using Heavy-Handed and Impact Induction. Heavy-Handed is going to create Orbs of Power on powered melee kills, and then Impact Induction, causing damage with those melees, is going to reduce the generation of our grenade cooldown. So that's going to be very helpful because we're getting a lot of melee kills. So we want to refund those grenades because the grenades are going to also spread scorch and ignite targets as well, which is helpful. On your Severance Enclosure, the chest piece here, I'm going with a Resilience mod, Concussive Dampener, and a Solar Resistance. You can ultimately change these out. I am a little bit close quarters, so I will give Concussive Dampener on here pretty much all the time. But if you have this upgraded to 10, which I clearly do not, you can add in another mod on here too for a resistance mod. But these are pretty much interchangeable. You can use these depending on what content you're going to and what they're putting out as far as their damage goes. On the legs, I have another Resilience mod. I'm running the Solar Weapon Surge because as we get armor charges, we're going to want those armor charges to stack, which are going to allow us to have additional solar damage, which is going to be really helpful. We're also going to run Innervation, which reduces the grenade cooldown every time we pick up an Orb of Power, so that's very helpful. And then lastly, on our Titan Mark, we're going to have on here this Discipline mod. We're going to run Time Dilation, which basically extends the duration that our armor charges decay. And then we're going to throw on the Reaper. So shortly after using any of your class ability, your next weapon kill is also going to spawn an Orb of Power, which is helpful. So you'll get your super back decently quick. That's also going to give you, like I mentioned earlier, once we jump here to the artifact, you'll see this is it right here. We're going to want to continue to use these. So this is what we're using. So I just want to take a moment. You can pause the video here. You can use this. The really important things that you want to take note of are the Kindling Trigger, because Radiant is going to cause solar weapons to apply more Scorch, right? And this is the seasonal artifact, so this is really good for this build, especially right now. So Radiant, as you get Radiant, you will do more Scorch damage, which is really helpful. Flint Striker, any solar weapon rapid kill, or with precision hits or rapid solar weapon final blows, these are going to grant you Radiant. So like I said, you get a lot of kills, and then you're Radiant. Once you're Radiant, solar weapons do more damage, which is great. The Heart of the Flame is another really important one. Casting your Solar Super grants all your allies Radiant. And this is increasing the damage of your super for every nearby ally, so this is helpful. And then also, this is nice just because you get more Orbs of Power the closer you get to it. But this is the other most important one. Causing damage with a solar ability is going to weaken champions and bosses for a short time. So, biggest things here: Kindling Trigger, Flint Striker, Heart of the Flame, Revitalizing Blast. Those are your most important things. You can kind of play around with whatever else you want. If you want to add on the rocket launcher, these could be helpful given that we're using the rocket launcher. I'm personally not using it, but you can. This one is also nice to use if you're using a lot of heavy, which we do, but honestly, I'd rather have the other perks that I've selected in here over this one. So your biggest 4 are right here. That's what we need. Also, Razor Precision, Radiant Solar Precision Vulnerabilities cause combatants to ignite. So always ignite. Razor Precision. This is also really important. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the 5 that you need. I said 4 earlier, but you need 5. These are them. So that's what you're going to use here for your artifact. Now that we've gone over all of the stuff, we will go ahead and get into some gameplay. I'm going to just run something decently quick here. Arc damage. Saw that. So we want to go in here and throw on arc resistance instead, because that's what they're running. Other things on here, melee abilities are going to something, I guess, recharge faster, which is nice. However, whenever you throw your hammer and you pick up your hammer, it's got like a 1 second thing. There was a time several months ago when Bungie actually nerfed the bonk build, which is essentially kind of what this is. It's a little bit of a different take on that one, but essentially when they nerfed it, we had to come up with something different to use as a Titan main. It was frustrating. So we're going to start getting kills here. We'll throw those down, start scorching and killing targets, creating the spun spots, which are going to give us the restoration that we need. Being radiant, you can see here that they're exploding just by the shot of the weapon. Once we get up here, I'll start throwing my hammer and I'll show you the explosions that are being caused by this. You can also see the grenade energy here is being refilled really quickly. So I'll throw that hammer and miss completely because I'm a noob. I'll take it. We'll pick that up. Whoa. Still missed. Gotta love that. Well, also, once you grab one of the solar flare things here, it sounds really uneducated. But essentially, once you grab those, you're standing them, you will regenerate your abilities a bit quicker as well, which is helpful. Wow, dude, I've missed every shot, bro. I'm garbage. There we go. So that's one. Start causing some of these solar ignitions. We'll jump behind this for a second. Just kind of get a little bit of cover here with the reload speed, which is nice. You'll notice I'm taking a lot of damage, but the restoration and cure is helping out quite a good bit, being under heavy fire like that. All the scorch stacks and everything, man, it's so good. Like, not wasting all the power here. All right, you'll see. Oh well, he dropped, so no problem. But you get roaring flames when you start getting kills a little bit faster. You get that solar weapon boost for having the armor charges. Now, again, they do decay, but you'll get an armor charge every time you pick up an orb of power, which, you know, multi-kills with solar weapons are obviously going to drop those. So you should pretty much, once you're fighting a bunch of enemies, always be in pretty good standing with armor charges in respect to remaining not only radiant, but having that solar weapon boost, which is helpful. So you see I just threw that there. Kind of knocked him up, gave him a pretty good hit. See if I can smack it again. As they explode because of the scorch stacks, it's a pretty good hit. Now my hammer's on the other side of that and I can't get it now, but oh, there it goes. It's a pretty, honestly, straightforward build. So really the biggest things are making sure that you're applying your scorch by shooting your solar weapon. Or do recommend using, you know, a minus mini tool, or like specifically the one that I have. It's really nice. I mean, you can use it and it's got great perks and abilities on it. So it's just further helping the cause. But before I had this, I was using just a standard solar weapon, just to be able to get the kills and stuff like that. And I was still able to put out roughly the same amount of damage on there. So not that it improves it tenfold, but it does improve it a pretty solid bit. So it's nice. You can use those other weapons to do so, but the biggest thing as far as a rotation goes, what you're going to want to do is large groups of enemies, something like that. You can start by throwing a grenade down, which will start applying the scorch and ignitions as you shoot them with your weapon once they get close to low health. So there's that. They get close, you can start throwing your hammer just like that, and it just does a ton of damage. Not to mention with the seasonal artifact, oh golly, with the seasonal artifact, your solar abilities are going to weaken those targets after a short time, which is only going to further help get those kills on like the I think overload or barrier champion, something like that. So just as you do that, you'll start getting more and more good. So anyway, you start with the grenade, shoot them with your weapon a little bit. You're just doing more and more damage to these guys. You can throw your hammer on there, throw these guys around, which is, oh gosh, he got him before I can hit him with my hammer. So you get the sunspots down, you collect those are going to give you the my goodness, what is it called, dude? Soul Invictus, Roaring Flames, those sorts of things. It's helpful because they're also going to give you restoration, which obviously you can't get too much of. So that scorch, missed that shot, no problem. But I can still punch him because it counts as a powered melee. And that's only going to, again, continue whenever you get a melee kill with the Severance Enclosure, it's going to explode them. So as long as they're scorched, you're going to be in good shape. But you'll notice restoration was up for a very strong majority of that entire fight, because getting kills with that is also going to extend the duration of Radiant. So got that guy. Go here. We'll use the alright. I love that. I just miss so much. That's one of the things. I'm just showcasing to you how bad I am. That's really all this video is. And he's done. That's it. All there is to it. So yeah, as you can see, Solar Titan build is really good, especially when you're using the Severance Enclosure. You're just gonna get so many of the explosive kills just from your powered melee on this, so it makes it super worth it, especially being in close combat, things like that. I'm gonna play out the rest of this mission. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure if you like the content, that again, you like and subscribe, comment, helps the algorithm, helps myself out in this channel. I know I'm not super great at playing games or playing, or making videos, but it would just help me out a lot. I have a ton of fun doing this, and I just really enjoy the community that we're building here. So like the video, subscribe for more content like this. I appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you all in the next one.